Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. First of all, an apology for not having done a video last week. I tend to do one every Sunday, as you know. I did do one last week. I spent 20 minutes sitting here prattling endlessly about movies that I'd watched and things that I'd bought off Amazon, and then made a complete pig's ear of it by accidentally deleting it and then making it even worse by emptying the recycle bin, so there was absolutely no getting it back. And the thought of sitting here for another 20 minutes doing it all again, it wasn't going to happen. To be honest, it wasn't that good anyway, so you didn't really miss anything. So hopefully I'll make up for it this week. Now, I don't get many new subscribers nowadays. It's only every now and then that I get an email through. So when I do, what I'm going to start doing is just giving them a little shout out. So welcome to the channel, Chris Nichols. Feel free to pop over to the Facebook page and join in any of the discussions, post whatever you like that's movie related on there. Have a visit to the Instagram page, and I hope you enjoy the content that's coming on here. We're quite a warm, friendly little community. I think you'll get on quite well with us all. So enjoy what we do, mate. Now then, what have I been watching this week? I did actually publish a full review of Humanoids From The Deep last week on the website, and I promised I'd talk a little bit about it. There's not much to say that I didn't actually put on the website, so I'll probably keep this one quite brief. That's the movie, if you've never seen it. It's exploitation cinema at its absolute best. The rough idea of the story, just to give you a very basic idea, a small coastal fishing village in America is besieged by basically humanoids from the deep. You've got these things coming ashore, basically killing the men, raping the women. It is exploitation at its best. I mean, Roger Corman knows what he's doing with stuff like this. He's been doing movies like this for quite a few years, and he knows exactly what people want. So if you haven't actually seen this and you want to know a little bit more about it, just pop over to the website and have a read of the review that I popped on there last week, which a lot of you have already done, which I do appreciate. And that will tell you everything that you need to know. It's a fun movie. It's gory, bloody. It is literally exploitation at its absolute best, and nobody does it quite like Roger Corman. I always think he's a little bit like Michael Winner in that respect. He's very much the same with his movies like Death Wish. But this is definitely something, especially if you've never seen it. It was made in 1980, so it's actually 40 years old. But it's retained all the power that it had back then. I watched it for the first time in a while last weekend and really thoroughly enjoyed it, the same as I did the first time. I mean, how can you not enjoy a movie that basically features rapey lizards? Been dying to get that expression in. So yeah, if you've not seen it, hunt it down. You will not regret it. It is 80s magic, without a doubt. It's not an easy watch as far as gore goes. There's lots of blood flying about. There's a lot of stuff in there that will get the feminists up in arms, but we're not that bothered about that. So yeah, I would definitely say hunt that one down. And one thing that watching that made me do, or made me want, is to see more of Corman's output. So I went onto Amazon and came away with this one, Corman's World. It's a documentary about Roger Corman, the movies he's made, how he got to where he is today. I'm really looking forward to watching this. I might slap this on a little bit later on actually and have a look. But he gave acting start to a lot of people. Bruce Dern, Robert De Niro, Peter Fonda, Ron Howard, Jack Nicholson, and he also mentored a lot of very prominent directors, Peter Bogdanovich, Joe Dante, Ron Howard again, who now directs obviously Quentin Tarantino. He's influenced an awful lot of people, and I really want to know a lot more about him. I actually watched one of his early movies last week called The Wasp Woman. made about 1958. Black and white thing, horror. You've just got this scientist who has invented this serum that basically is, it's like an anti-aging serum. There's a woman who's the face of beauty products in an advertising campaign. She's starting to look a little bit old, and she decides to want this serum injected into her that will make her look younger. It all goes horribly wrong. She turns into this wasp-like creature. It is quite funny. I don't think it's meant to be, but it is quite amusing, and I couldn't help but think that maybe they should have dealt with it. I think they killed her in the end by throwing acid on her and throwing her out of a window. Personally, I'd have just hit her over the head with a newspaper, which is what you do with wasps. But if you've not seen it, it's a good fun watch. I actually caught it on YouTube, so that's where you'll find that one. It's a difficult one to find on DVD, and I think it's available on Blu-ray, but only on Region 1. So yeah, I'd recommend that one if you get a chance to have a look at it. And talking of exploitation, on the same page as Corman's World, it's fatal when I go on Amazon. I always come away with more than I actually want. There was this one. It's another documentary, not quite Hollywood. And this is all about Australian exploitation cinema. I didn't even know there was such a thing. It's called Ozploitation. That's what they call it over there. And I can't really. I mean, they're talking about movies on the back here like Mad Max, BMX Bandits. BMX Bandits. That's one I've never seen. Very popular in the 80s, I think. But there are a lot of really gory, blood-splattered, epic things on here that I really, really want to get in. That's another one that I want to have a watch of. So yeah, that's another one to have a look at. Now, last night's, I'm going to class it as movie of the week. The one that I actually write a review about on the website and actually watch, excuse me, was this one. Fright. Made in 1971, stars Susan George, Honor Blackman, George Cole, John Gregson, who you will remember from Genevieve. I think that's about it. Roger Lloyd Pack, who played Trigger in Only Fools and Horses, has a cameo role in this as a copper. If you can spot him, blink and you'll miss it, but he's there and he's credited. This is the movie, basically, that... Ian Bannon. Forgot about him. Ian Bannon's in there as well. It is the movie that, I think, kick-started the babysitter in peril genre that was very, very popular in the late 70s, early 80s with movies like Halloween, When a Stranger Calls. This was made way back in 1971 and predated all of that. A very, very similar story. Amanda, played by Susan George, is a babysitter. She does the job to fund a childcare course that she's doing at the local college. She babysits for a fairly well-to-do couple, played by Honor Blackman and George Cole, the Lloyds. And it goes from there. It's a creepy film. I remember seeing it many, many years ago. And it scared the hell out of me. It's also a real predator of like this slasher movies. I would highly, highly recommend it. This kind of movie is what the British did really, really well in the early 70s, sort of thriller / horror movies. And what it reminded me of, there was a series in the sort of early to mid 70s called Thriller. They were written by Brian Clemens. And it was just basically a number of self-contained hour-long programs of a similar line to this. And this kind of reminded me of that. I think it would have made an excellent thriller episode. And looking at it and watching it last night, I thought it looked a lot like an episode of Thriller that had been padded out to last for 90 minutes. But it is not a boring 90 minutes at all. Highly recommended if you've not seen it before. It's another one that's retained its power. It's 50 years old, and it's still as creepy as hell. lots of jump scares, well worth watching. So yeah, I would highly recommend that. On the Blu-ray, you've got let's see, you've got an interview with Susan George, who still looks good. I mean, she must be in her 70s now, but she looks amazing. You've got an interview with Kim Newman, who's a sort of a film critic, and you've also got a photo gallery. So there's not much in the way of extras on there, but enough to keep you watching for half an hour after the movie's ended. So what's next?